If you've ever wanted the look and feel of a hardwood floor without the expense, you may want to try a free-floating laminated wood floor that you can install yourself. And if you are tired of that old carpet like I was, this Pergo flooring could be the new and updated look that your house needs. What I had was some really old worn-out carpet. To tell you the truth, I didn't really want you to see it, so we've already taken that up, and now we're ready for the installation. This is Todd McKenzie from Pergo, and he's going to be helping me today. Todd, I'm really excited about this floor, and I'm to understand the installation is pretty easy. Yeah. Why don't you tell me, what exactly is Pergo?
Well, Pergo is a plank, and it's made up of high-pressure melamine laminate on the surface, which is bonded to an engineered wood-based chipboard. It's installed as a floating floor, and it's tongue and groove on 4 sides.
That fits together really nice.
Yeah. When you install it over the top of an underlayment foam called Sound Block, which gives you sound deadening qualities and also gives you comfort underfoot. Over concrete subfloors, we use moisture block polyethylene film, and that protects the product itself from moisture coming up from the concrete.
Okay, well, I told you we already took up the carpet. We had tile in this area that we took up as well. And it is okay to put your Pergo floor down on top of the mastic. We've just laid down our first piece of vapor barrier, and if you'll notice right here, we cut this to fit around the door. And Todd's over here working with our second piece to fill in this small gap right here. Now Todd, it's not necessary to tape these seams together, right?
No, it's not necessary to tape the seams. What we want to do is overlap the 2 pieces by 8 inches. That will prevent any moisture from coming up in between the seam.
After you get all of the vapor barrier down, it's time for the sound block. Todd, do we need to completely cover the area with all of the sound block first?
No, we only use 1 section of sound block at a time. That reduces the amount of damage or movement that will occur while we're working on top of it.
And this little piece here is just to fill in this gap. Now it is necessary to tape the sound block together at the seams.
Correct. You just butt the joints together and tape it with some masking tape.
When you begin the installation, you'll need to dry fit your first 3 rows before you do any gluing. You'll want to start in the left-hand corner with a full plank, and you also need to use spacers around the full perimeter of the floor. This is going to give it room to expand and contract. Now when we're finished with the installation, we'll come back with the quarter round to fill in this expansion joint. Todd, I see that you've already got your first 3 boards and they're all different lengths. What's the purpose of that?
Well, the boards need to interlock together, and for that reason, you need to separate end joints in adjacent rows by at least 8 inches. What we're going to do now is we're going to continue dry laying all the way down to the end wall.
Todd, what's the best way to address this door frame right here?
Well, to avoid having a small piece in the center of the doorway, what we'll do is we'll cut a few inches off the entire first row, and that'll allow this board to adjust up into the center.
Okay. Well, now I see why it's so important to dry fit the first 3 rows. That way if you have any adjustments to make, you can make them. Okay, it looks about 2 1/4 inches. So let me mark that. Okay, well, I'll get started cutting these boards then. If you need to rip your first layer of boards, be sure that you cut on the groove side. This leaves the tongue available to the second row of boards. And also, cutting Pergo is just like cutting any other wood. For our straight cuts, we're going to be using a table saw. This is the plank that's going in the doorway. So to notch this piece out, I'm using a cordless jigsaw. All right, this is the notched piece, and it looks like it fits in there just like it's supposed to. And if you had to rip any boards like we did, you'll want to do another dry fit with all 3 of your rows just to make sure everything's right before you start gluing. When we get finished with the installation, we're going to fill this gap in with this carpet reducer. You can see how that'll fill up the transition between the carpet and the floor. Well, it looks like everything's set to go, so now we're ready to glue. When you get ready to glue, there's several tools that you're going to need. First, you'll need plenty of glue. You're also going to need a bucket of water and some clean rags to clean up as you go. Todd, what else have you brought?
Well, first thing we need is a tapping block and a hammer. That helps us to draw the end joints tight together in the boards. We also use our Pergo straps. That helps us ensure that the boards are in a perfectly straight line and tight together.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. When you get ready to glue your planks together, you want to fill up this groove completely. And you're not gluing the first plank, but every one thereafter. Okay, now this should just slide right into place. And you can see some of the glue oozing up through the seams. That's okay because this is ensuring that your seams are being bonded together, plus it's providing a moisture seal. All right, put this one in place. Okay, now that I've got these three glued together, now we need to clean this up. Thank you. Just wipe that off, just like that.
Okay, we're ready to put a strap on now.
Okay.
Just place the flat plate in the expansion joint by the wall and place the plate with the ratchet on it. It's directly on top of the plank you last installed. As you ratchet, the strap will pull the two plates together and tighten up the joints. Okay, now this is the area where we use the tapping block to draw the end joints together.
Since you can't use the tapping block up against the wall, you'll need to put an end clamp at the end of each row to tighten up the last board. Okay, Todd, this one's good. We need to put one more strap on to complete this first 3 rows. And Todd, we sure have used a lot of straps. Is it pretty expensive for people to buy these?
Well, they don't have to buy them. They can rent them cheaply at their local retail shop.
Okay. Well, now that we've got the first 3 rows in place, what we need to do is let this set up for an hour, and then we can make a run with it.
Right.
We're about a third of the way finished now, so we're just moving right along. But what's important to remember is to add spacers around your perimeter as you go, and also to stagger your seams on your first board of the row. And you want to move your straps down as well. Now these straps are plenty long enough, as you can see, so these are going to reach all the way to the end of the wall. It's also important that you keep on cleaning up the glue as you're working too. And we're just going to continue this for the rest of this area. Well, we finally finished in the living room, and now we're moving on into the kitchen. And just like I told you, we can put all of this down right on top of the vinyl. Todd, how long do we need to wait, though, once we're finished before we put the furniture back on?
You need to wait 12 hours before you put the furniture back on and use the floor normally.
Well, I'm really pleased with the way it looks so far. Let's go ahead and keep working and get this finished. This type of laminated wood flooring can be found at most local home centers. It costs around $4 per square foot if you do it yourself. That means for the average 300 square foot living area, you can expect to spend around $1,200. Tack on an extra $700 to $800 if you hire someone to install it. If you would like to learn more about laminated wood flooring, contact us on the internet at michaelholigan.com.